So I got into a little back and forth with Kent Bazemore on Twitter after the game. Hold up though real quick. I want to shout out The Drip. My guy, Mikel Anthony, is not only a chef, but a clothing designer and a huge Dubs fan, as you can see by the Splash-inspired gear. Go peep the storefront. My girls, they want the tie-dye drip. Yeah, that's back in style, but you'll probably catch me in the hoodie though, because it is about to be hoodie season. Go check out his YouTube channel, The Drip, as well as his storefront, and check out the gear. Gotta be in all black after something like that last night, right? Like, whew, whew. Okay, we'll cover everything. We'll cover the game. Let me explain a little bit here, because I got a lot of attention on Twitter last night from me. Wanted to explain myself a little bit better. So the game went how it went, right? I was disappointed, like all of us. I had a little fun. I thought I had a very funny, clever tweet in regards to EP, Eric Paschal. You know, my little saltiness of that or whatever. And I'm scrolling the timeline and I see that Kent Bazemore has hopped on Twitter after the game and was kind of feeling a type of way about Dub Nation overreacting to the loss, right? And he said he had time today and all that stuff. And so I simply was trying to point out to him, give him some context here about, look, Steph goes down last year. When was it? Last November. Since then, like, we really haven't been competitive. It's been tanking, right? We've tanked. So there hasn't really been much competitiveness. You have an extended COVID off season. So here we are over a year later, finally with a roster that we feel like we're going to compete. That's the key word. Not contender, not, playoff team. I'm not talking about big picture, just competitive, meaning the game is not over in the first quarter type stuff, right? And so I think we all had our popcorn ready, and it's been an extended period of time since we've got like real Warrior basketball, right? And to get wiped off the floor like that in the first 10 minutes of the game, people were salty, man. I wasn't too shocked, but I was disappointed. And so I was simply trying to explain, kind of give him a perspective of Dub Nation. Like, look, we ain't going nowhere, but let the fans vent. We've waited so long for this, and it was over before it began, right? Personally, I thought the youngsters were starstruck. KD, Kyrie, they come out and they are masters at their craft, man. They're going at half speed, using angles, the degree of difficulty on the shots they make. They were a little starstruck. Quiet gym, I don't think helped. There were various reasons, right? But it was over in about 10 minutes. And Brooklyn looks scary, man. My hat's off to them. So let's go through what happened. First and foremost, Eric Paschal starts for Draymond Green. I thought he was the biggest problem defensively. Clearly he's out of shape, and it was an emergency start. They kind of had to turn to him, and he was just stuck in sand. His closeouts were awful. Everything was slow. Those of you on my Patreon know I've already talked about, like, I'm a little wary about what he's done this offseason, hence my tweet, right? But look, by no means am I writing Paschal off yet. It's just he's behind, right? A second round pick, had, kind of a little breakout, some success his rookie year, and you'd think you'd want to catapult off that and build off that, and it looks like he's had some setbacks. So he's getting eaten up, and the whole team they weren't connected. They're missing Draymond clearly, right? And then you flip it around and you look at Brooklyn. They've got four guys that can create their own shot at any time. Dinwiddie, LeVert, and then obviously the two future Hall of Famers. And so they're going to make a lot of teams look silly defensively, but we weren't doing ourselves any favor by not being connected and really just not bringing the right type of energy that you'd expect on an opening night. Now, let's get to Andrew Wiggins. Again, context matters. And I think I should have went back and saw maybe what Baze exactly was talking about. He probably was taking offense to people killing Wiggins. I don't know. But, Wiggins is a very polarizing player. The thing is, here's the thing. Again, the context matters. Now, we all know who Wiggins is, and we all know that he struggles with consistency. He's going to have some no-shows. We know that, right? But now you add in the context that it was opening night, the first game of the season, not just opening night for the Warriors, opening night for the entire league on the biggest stage, and you lay an egg. That's, I think, what had people salty, right? When you add that in, because you always have to. And so, he's going to have to bounce back. It's fine to have some duds. How do you respond? Christmas Day in Milwaukee is your perfect opportunity. Chris Middleton, Giannis, Drew Holiday. This is going to be a Milwaukee team that's out for blood. It's going to be a daunting task, particularly if Draymond's not ready to go. But I believe in this team's pride. And so I think we'll have a much better outcome. What about Steph? It's interesting, too. You know, the Steph crowd gets so sensitive. I think I said something on Twitter to the account. I think I tweeted out, look, I think Brooklyn will take their foot off the gas here at some point, but is Steph going to wake up? And people immediately interpreted that as, are you blaming Steph? This isn't Steph's fault. Like, it's not Steph's fault. No, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying the two-time MVP, we don't have a chance unless maybe the term wake up is what was offensive, right? Because it was like, no, I'm not saying it's all his fault. No, I'm just saying unless he gets going, we don't stand a chance in coming back. And I thought Brooklyn would take their foot off the pedal, but what I think I miscalculated was the benefit of having such a youthful bench. Their depth, they have depth, but not only that, they've got young depth. Allen, Dinwiddie, just their depth. They're all younger guys. They're all hungry and still have things to prove. And so even when Durant and Kyrie are done showing out, they still have guys that are thirsty and hungry. And so they didn't take their foot off the pedal, needless to say, right? But it's just funny how, again, Twitter, and you can't really read tones, and people people show themselves kind of by how they interpret things. But the reality of it is Steph did shoot 2 of 10 from 3. A lot of them were contested. There wasn't a lot of space on the floor, and when you're the face of the franchise, yeah, you're going to shoulder some of the blame. Now, a lot of grumblings about Steve Kerr, and we've got time to complain. He's figuring out this stuff too. We got to give him time to adapt and adjust the rotations, and he said as much. And not just that, but the system. And I'll admit too, I was frustrated. We're down. You could feel the game slipping away really quickly, right? Yet they come out of a timeout and Steph's still running around off ball. So I have a separate video on Steve Kerr coming soon. I have something that's very interesting. Have y'all noticed that Steph's been struggling in the paint? He's been struggling to finish around the rim, and when he gets downhill, if you check my Patreon, my guy Kyle, we've had a discussion. I think we've figured out why Steph is struggling finishing at the rim, and it may not be what you think. I know you're thinking there's not enough spacing. There's another reason. If you're interested, go check that out. I've got a 15-minute breakdown of this entire game, and I will have breakdowns of every Warrior game. So support your boy. But I know what y'all came for. I'm going to give you what you came for. The big ticket, King James the Great. We can't call him the big ticket. I understand. Hence Kevin Garnett, right? Is he the new big ticket? Is he the new ticket? We can't force the nickname. It will come naturally. Dub Nation. But I think that the first thing that stood out to me with Wiseman was how aggressive and confident he was offensively. I expected him to maybe just be a little timid, a little uneasy offensively, particularly, especially a big guy, right? And all this lack of experience and all that. No, man, he's a natural ball player, right? He's a natural ball player. Defensively, I thought he was fine, man. I liked what I see. Now, he got beat. He was playing a drop coverage and pick and roll. That's what you're watching for most, right? They weren't switching. He was in the drop, and he got beat. He was late by a beat, by a second. He was a little bit late on some of those drops and defending the lob and when to contest, but he was there and he was aware. And that will change with experience. It wasn't, sometimes you see a young big and pick and roll action, right? And they're getting turned around and they're just clueless. They're jumping everywhere. It was none of that. He was just a beat late, either getting out or dropping back. And you're dealing, mind you, with Kyrie and Durant and a lot of those pick and roll actions. So I thought he looked very promising on that end. Obviously, we know about the end-to-end speed and running, right? But I think the thing that was most exciting of all is it's real. It's real, y'all. I'm not talking about your favorite IG model's booty. I'm talking about his jumper. His jumper is real. You say, well, how do you, he made a couple in garbage time. That doesn't, no, man. You know what you know, and I know what I know. Now, you see during the offseason, usually with a lot of players, you see a lot of guys stroking jumpers and empty gyms, right? And just looking really good. Oh, he's stretching the floor now. He's got a jumper now, right? And then they get in a game, a live game, and all of a sudden they just don't have that confidence, right? It's not real. It's one thing to stroke it in an open gym or even in preseason, but you get in a real live regular season game. Do you really believe in your shot? And that's what I saw in Wiseman. I don't care if it was garbage time. What I saw was a 19-year-old 7-footer who believes in his shot, and he'll take it. He'll take it and he'll make it, right? We know it's a slow release, but I like it because it's 7-1. Take your time. Ain't nobody getting to that, right? It drives me crazy. Like, I really like Jaren Jackson Jr. as a player. The bro shoots it from his chest, from his belly button. I'm like, how in the world did you develop that shot, bro? You're 7 feet tall. And so Wiseman understands no one's going to get to that, and he can take his good old time, but he wanted to take it. And he started feeling himself late and taking it, albeit garbage time. But that's the thing. We know about the athleticism. He looked fine everywhere else, better than I think we expected given the circumstances, right? But if he is going to stroke that, man, and be not just a vertical spacer, but a pick and pop threat, because we can get into the lack of shooting, Oubre, Wiggins, the wings, like, you know, Wiggins is going to have to bounce back. Oubre, the thing about Oubre is, and again, it's one game, but what happens is a couple plays stick out to you, right? The big putback dunk. I think he had 2 dunks in this one. He drew an offensive foul, right? He has very loud plays that stick out to you, but we can't confuse style with substance, right? He wasn't very effective either. And so I know that one of the big problems right now is like, where are we going to get the shooting? Right? It's going to come and go with those guys. They're 2 maybe shooters, great athletes, maybe shooters. Is it Michael Mulder? Is it Damian Lee? You know, but here's the thing. Again, back to James Wiseman and his ability to shoot the ball. If he's going to shoot the 3 again and be a pick and pop big as well as a vertical spacer, maybe the Warriors don't need as much spacing. And if his growth process as an offensive weapon is going to be quicker than anticipated and accelerated, then that's just super positive moving forward. So, yeah, man, it was a disappointing night. And again, back to my new Twitter followers and people that are just finding the channel. I'll cover other basketball stuff. I'm going to talk more than just Warriors. Believe that. Just give me time. But, yeah, look, as a Warrior fan base, I know that there's a lot of newbies during the dynastic run. There's a lot of OGs like myself that have suffered through years and years of bad basketball. And I get it. Like, when you see a Warrior fan complaining, you know, right now, people are like so quick to get down our throats. You have nothing to complain about. Oh, poor you. Oh, yeah. Nah, man, we just want a competitive game. It's not about, I'm not sitting here like, we better be in the finals. We better do. Nah, man, competitive. When I mean competitive, I mean literally like the game, you have hope throughout the game. It's not just over right away. That's what I'm talking about. So don't misconstrue that. But overall, big picture, look, man, it's going to be a growing process. I expect the Warriors to be 6th, 7th seed, hovering around the bottom end of the playoffs and fighting for those spots. But the reality of the situation is, regardless of how this team comes together this year, if James Wiseman is who he looks like he might be, none of this will matter. And that's the exciting part. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.